Let's see. Review Gumball. Could you talk about Gumball? Gumball. Review Gumball or die? Well, time to review Gumball. Ladies and jellyfish from of all sizes, welcome back to A.S.K's videos. If you're new here, I do cartoon reviews, and if you enjoy that kind of stuff, consider subscribing. Today on Super Reviews, I'm talking about the latest and likely the last episode of Gumball ever, The Intelligence. So I've been waiting for this, and after it came out as I'm writing this, it has been confirmed to certainly not be the last episode of the show, or even Season 6. So if anything here sounds a little off, that's why. Anyway, I've been wanting to talk about this show for such a long time. From the multiple requests I've gone to review it, to the countless Gumball reviews, to most of them getting significant views that can't have anything to do with it, or just looking like an interesting show in general. So as many people do, let's start off my reviewing spree for Gumball with the last episode. The episode is in the description for reference, so if you want to see it now, do that. The episode starts off with honestly a pretty funny reference to what seems like YouTube. It looks like one of those old cat videos replaced with dogs, and then an ad pops up. A short pause to see the artistic integrity shows not much. We've got some pretty legit suggested videos, a gag about there being 2 dislikes with 2 zeros before the 2 for some reason, and uploader Overton Richardson, which I have no idea what that's referencing. Anyway, an ad plays, and it stops every time they ignore it by turning around. One of those classic jokes, am I right? I like the hidden joke in this, which is the ad saying how old generations are ruining the economy and they'll get a retirement. Gumball and Darwin, with their great voices by the way, especially Gumball's voice is very nice and clear, a feature I wish I honestly had, make fun of an ad with his B-roll, which is actually a pretty decent joke. They reference how online algorithms can't do a good job of tracking you and recommend you ads or products targeted usually not appropriate for your age range. It would have been funny if they referenced how people lie about their ages online, but I think they were talking about algorithms that track your history and completely fail at guessing the demographic. As he calls computers dumb, Timmy, or the internet or whatever, comes and says some lines I couldn't understand. Not because of his voice or anything, but because of the poor delivery. Gumball pulls the plug on him, even though with computers it doesn't do anything. We get a joke about safe search, and once again a funny reference to the actual internet. I also just realized how great the animation is in this very creative cartoon. It really gives us a zing and a creative outlook. We can see the live action background, some puppets, lots of 3D as well as 2D animation blended together nicely. We actually got a really funny joke regarding updates on computers, which I thought was pretty relatable, myself having Windows 10 where updates are as common as having to charge. The voice actor's tone and enthusiasm also adds a bit to this gag. I know if this was Darwin or something it wouldn't have been as funny. He gets presumably virused and goes through this. Yeah, this is officially the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Just including duck clips in this is worth a 10 million out of 10. Seriously. He tries to call it Gumball, but he denies it in those sleepy wake up and get mad and go back to bed moments. And then we see the entire town's lights go out. They wake up the next day from a ring on the door, and 3 guys say something that's way too fast to comprehend. They give him a vacuum cleaner nozzle and tell Gumball to summon them with it by using it as a horn.
You may summon us by blowing upon this noble horn.
This is the nozzle of a vacuum cleaner. It's not a horn.
Anything's a horn if you blow hard enough.
That's what she said. They go out in their beds and see some people protesting about something. Once again, it was really hard to understand what. They were just bantering, and the amazing visuals distract a lot from it, especially in big crowds like this that are full of differently designed characters. When Gumball talks about the internet, they all crowd around him, and then him and Darwin get saved by another old dude. When they get into some weird cave, the old guy turns into a sensei and tells them what happened.
There was once a time when people relied on technology for everything. It told them how to get where they needed to go. It fed them, bringing food right to their door. But then, one day, technology became as dumb as people. Cash registers forgot how to add up. Alarm clocks overslept. Then, technology just stopped working and people returned to superstition, mob justice, and wearing brown clothes. Which brings us to where we are today.
I think that's a pretty cool story accompanied by the stupidly amazing visuals. To think we actually devolved ever since technology became what it is today is actually pretty interesting, especially for a kids cartoon. Gumball sees they have a map of their city, Elmore, and this can help them find internet as his phone's busted. But the old dudes try to stop them. Gumball calls for the previously mentioned guys with the horn. They escape and we get a really funny joke about Gumball only talking in technology jargon.
Okay, now all we have to do is figure out how this thing works. Come on, what's wrong with it? Why won't it zoom? It works, and the resolution's really holding up.
I'm so glad the team working on this were really knowledgeable about the subject of technology and didn't make it too cringy or instantly outdated. They find internet in a house going on a fritz again and they pull his plug. They think of leaving it unplugged and we get a very strange scene.
Run through the fields of green and gold. Whisper your words.
What is this? But the punchline, which is actually pretty funny, was that they replug him and all the adults instantly go back on their phones again. I think this was a really funny ending to an already good episode, but I do think they could have extended it a bit longer so something happens with internet so that this isn't completely predictable and kind of waste the build-up this got devoted to in the previous 10 minutes. So that was The Intelligence. Was it good? Was it bad? Well, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It was really funny, with the jokes being well-timed, not too cringy or instantly outdated, well-delivered, or out of nowhere. The visuals being beautiful to look at, although not as much as some other Gumball episodes, and the plot being decent. The characters don't really do much for the story. Some stories they tell are really incoherent and hard to follow, and the ending was a little rushed for my liking. Anyways, don't forget to leave your thoughts on the episode in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you like what you see. If you're new, feel free to check out my YouTube homepage for videos, and check out my website for links and tons of spoilers. Links as always in the description below and card up above. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.